Whenever I buy a new piece of tech, whatever that tech is, I'm always certain it can do something that I don't know about. Which got me thinking, what can my Garmin do? This is a device I use every single time I head out the door on my bike. What can it do that I still don't know about? Well, here are some things that I recently discovered about my Garmin. So you might know that you can change your activity profiles on your device. And now you can base these on the bikes that you're riding or the type of disciplines that you do. But there was a recent update which now means you can change the specific mapping on each of these activity profiles. This is called map themes, and there are a few different ones. For example, if you have a mountain biking activity profile, you can change the map theme to a mountain biking one. Now, this gives you different types of detail, but also crucially, these different map themes show you different types of routing. So they're based on Garmin's trendline popularity routing, which shows you where most of the riders are riding. So for the mountain biking one, it's more likely to show you the trails that most people ride. Now, this is really useful if you're riding somewhere new, you don't know the trails, you can navigate on the device and find them because of that specific map theme. Now, you can also change how much information or detail the maps show you. I didn't know you could do this, and there are loads of different options. There's like 5 different options of information that will be visible through the map. So for example, I might put it on its most detailed level for bike touring or packing because I might be going through places that I don't know and want to find out if there's local amenities that I can use, shops, cafes, toilets, that type of thing. More generally, it's worth spending a decent amount of time getting your activity profiles right. I'll typically spend about half an hour over the course of a ride getting them dialed in to how I want them to look. And if I'm using a bigger device with more screen real estate, I'll often use graphical displays to better outline specific bits of information. It just makes it all a little bit easier to use. Are you out riding with your mates? Well, did you know you can keep track of each other using Garmin's group track feature? Because I didn't know about this. But to make the most of it, you need to go into the Garmin Connect companion app, add your riding friends as connections in there, then go onto your Garmin, enable Garmin group track, and then next time you're riding with your friends, you'll be able to see each other on the Garmin's map. Now this is really useful if you're riding together or you're bike packing, or you just simply get dropped, which sort of happens to me all of the time. But then even better, did you know that you can send your friends messages from your device to their device? Now this is really cool, and it's based on a load of preset messages that Garmin have built into their devices. So unfortunately, it's not yet customizable. Garmin have been tight-lipped on whether this is something they'll ever change, but for the time being, it's sort of situational. So if you're at a point in the map, it might be able to send to someone behind you, go straight on, or stop here, and you can reply with a yes or no answer. But it's just really cool because it prevents you having to reach into your back pocket and pull out your mobile phone. Now, I always knew I could get text messages to my Garmin, but I always thought it was impossible to get WhatsApp. That was just not some compatibility that was built in to the Garmin system. But I was wrong. It turns out you can, you just need to fiddle around with the settings. So pair your phone to your Garmin, head to where it says the phone connection, hit that link, and then in there it will say SMS, email, social media, and other. You just want to hit social media, and that will pull through all of the WhatsApps that you get to your phone. But be warned, you're opening a can of worms here. Whilst you might get your WhatsApp messages, you'll also get your Facebook messages, your Instagram updates, and your Twitter likes, and basically everything else. So, you know, if the group chat takes off, you'll know about it, and if your nan posts a new status, well, you'll know about that as well. Now, one of the main reasons I've always bought cycling computers is for their navigational properties. If I'm ever riding somewhere new, it's so useful having a device that can tell me where to go. Now, I always thought that to get your file to your computer, You used to have to either plug it into your laptop and transfer it across manually, or star it on Strava, Komoot, set up that connection on device and it would port across. But actually, there is another way that I never knew about. You can send your route from one device to another without phones needing to be present. Now, to do this, you need to add the rider that needs to receive the file to your Garmin Connect connections, head onto your device and go to Connected Features and hit Device Transfers. Stand close enough to them because it uses Bluetooth technology and they should pop up and you'll be able to send them a course, a segment, any of those type of information straight from this device to theirs. You can set up alerts on your Garmin for a whole host of different things. For example, these can be nutritional, so you can get your Garmin to remind you when to eat or drink, which is definitely something I'm going to start doing because when I do long rides, I'm a serial underfeeder and I always completely collapse before the end of the ride. Now, these can be sort of manual alerts where you program in the time in between them or maybe the distance that you've ridden. So I like to drink every 5 kilometers, so I'll put that in my computer and it will remind me every 5K. Or they can be smart, and this takes an update and gives it to you based on the temperature of the day, how hard you're riding, heart rate, power output, a whole host of features will go into your Garmin to tell you when to take some food or water. Now, these alerts can also be for things like heart rate and power, which is really interesting. Say you don't want to ride above a certain heart rate, well, you can go into your device and set an upper limit. And if you go beyond that, it will alert you, telling you to calm down. The same can be done for both heart rate and power at a lower limit. So if you want to make sure you don't drop below a certain amount, it will alert you to make sure you pick it up again. This is really useful for a couple of different reasons. Firstly, if you're training or following some sort of exercise plan that dictates you ride at a certain difficulty, be really helpful for that. But also, if you're doing multiple long bike packing days, then you can set it so you don't go above a certain limit, making sure that you know you're giving yourself the best chance of completing the ride. But did you know that you can also customize them to what you want to be? So not just food, drink, power, heart rate, you can set them for anything. So you might say caffeine or taking a break or reminding you to, I don't know, sleep if you're some sort of ultra endurance racer. You can program them to whatever you want them to be, so it's well worth checking this feature out. So the last tip I'm going to give you isn't actually about Garmin, but it's about Garmin Connect, the companion app. Now, Garmin Connect isn't new. It's existed for a really long time, but it did recently get some really cool functionality. Previously, Garmin Connect would only store information that came to it from a cycling computer that was Garmin's or a watch. So it can now pull in all the information from third-party software. So if you do a workout on Zwift, Sufferfest, Tax, Trainer Road, all of that can be stored back in Garmin Connect. Now, this is really important because if you're using Garmin's Physio True-Up or suggested daily workouts, suggested resting, you know, all of that is informed by the information that Garmin Connect has. It basically is getting a much more accurate picture of the type of workouts and the type of riding that you are doing. Now, that's really useful. So there you go, some recent tips and tricks that I only just discovered about my Garmin cycling computer. If you have found them useful, or if you've got any of your own, then please do leave them in the comments section below. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and do subscribe to the Cycling Weekly YouTube channel for more great tech content. Now, I'll be back soon, and I'll see you then.